Hi everyone, welcome to Regan Real Reviews. I am Kathleen Regan. I'm a writer and actor and I watch a lot of movies and TV, so these are my reviews. I'd love to hear from you though, so go down into the comment section, tell me what you think about my reviews, the things I review, or give me suggestions on what you think I should watch. Also, there may be spoiler alerts because what spoils it for you may not spoil it for someone else, so just beware. So today I'm going to go over two things today. I'm going to go over the series The Beast in Me and also the brand new Knives Out number 3, which is called Wake Up Dead Man. Okay, so let's get started. Before we get started, I don't know if you guys have seen these Verizon commercials that came out with Molly Ringwald. I love it. Love it. Shout out to Molly Ringwald. I love you in these commercials. I wish we see more of you. Okay, The Beast in Me. I give it 3 reels. 3. Basically what it's a story of, it's a series. It's this writer, played by Claire Danes, who wrote this fantastic, huge hit seller. So she and her wife took this money with their son and they moved to sort of area of New York where the houses, there's more forest, it's a small town, that kind of thing. So she's living there. When we open up, we don't know what happened, but her wife is no longer there with her. We don't see the son anywhere. This big neighbor moves in next door. And when I say big, it's like a big thing for the town. These houses are huge and gorgeous, by the way. But the neighbor that moves in with his second wife was this very, very rich man from a very, very rich family, played by Matthew Rhys, and he's married to Brittany Snow. And he has been in the papers a lot lately because his first wife died under mysterious circumstances. And he, I guess, was tried, never was found not guilty, whatever. So there was always kind of, did he do it, did he not? So they move in next door. And it's about what happens between them and, her trying to get a second book, like that kind of thing. So Claire Danes, like I said, plays the lead. Matthew Rhys plays the mysterious neighbor, and Brittany Snow, who I love and is in everything so far this year. I love her. She's like a bright light whenever I see her. So that was really well done with her. I do have another shout out. Shout out to this minor character. She plays Claire Danes is Aggie, the character Aggie. She plays her editor. And it's a smaller role, but just really well done. Her name is Deirdre O'Connell, and she has been in a lot of things. You may have seen her this year in Eddington, The Penguin, Better Sister. She's in a lot of things. She's one of those faces that you're like, yeah, I don't know her. But then when you see her face, like Margot Martindale, you're like, yeah, I know that Deirdre O'Connell. So thank you so much, Deirdre, for paving the way for us older women. So I appreciate it. The creator is Gabe Rotter, which I found interesting. And I always try to look this up, like what have they done in the past? Like are they getting like lots of stuff, or like how did they get this opportunity to create this and have all these amazing stars in it? Gabe, it looks like, he did the X-Files, that X-Files, like number 1 X-Files way back in the day. And I don't see a lot of huge things since then until this. The showrunner is Howard Gordon. He's also credited as a writer. He has a lot of TV credits, not a lot of, feature films, but a lot of TV credits. He worked with Claire Danes on Homeland, if you saw that one. And he also has like 12 projects in various stages of production in the works. The other producers are noteworthy. Jodie Foster, Conan O'Brien, and Claire Danes was also a producer, which is important later on. Matthew Rhys said that for this part, as sort of this mysterious guy who may be a psychopath, may not be, we don't know, he read a lot of books. And there was one book in particular that Claire Danes actually recommended for him, and it's called The Journalist and the Murderer. And he said after he read this, he was like starting to think if he himself was maybe a psychopath, and kind of got to him. Matthew Rhys played this role so well. I mean, it is very tough to play that line between did he or didn't he do it? Is he crazy? Is he not? Is he just friendly? Is like that kind of thing. And he had so many levels in his character, and it was just brilliant. And I did read that Matthew Rhys, when he got offered the role, he thought it was for like this much smaller, minor role. And then when he found out he got this one, he was shocked because he didn't think that he would be at that level. Matthew, you are at that level and you are beyond. You did a fantastic job. Claire Danes. So I like Claire Danes. I don't have anything against Claire Danes. It's not like I, though, jump to her movies because I love her to death. I thought she did a good job. I think she does the characteristics of jumpy, nervous, anxious, crying. I think she does that very well. However, that seems to be the only thing she does in this film. Now, usually when I see someone do something one note, right, there's not many levels out there. Yeah, there are a few tiny scenes where she may be a little bit lighter, but very, very rare do we see anything light from her in this film, in this series. Usually when that happens, I think, oh, geez, maybe it was the direction, like maybe that's what they did, or it could have been on the, the cutting room floor, as they say, right? She may have had these different levels, but because of some reason they had to cut those out or whatever. But Claire was a producer. And a lot of times when you are a producer, especially if you're the lead in something, it's because you want more creative control over that, So I'm not sure what happened there. And it also probably highlighted that one note a lot more because Matthew Rhys, Brittany Snow, had so many different levels in their character and really made it mysterious. So it kind of highlighted the one note of Claire maybe a little bit more. There were some other things in the series that I didn't care for. It's 8 episodes, right? And I did watch the whole thing. It was good. The writing was good. The sets, for the most part, were good. The acting wasn't consistent, but it was good. So I watched the whole thing. The pacing was good, but it just never hit that note for me. And also, and this may be just me as a filmmaker in general or an actor in general, there were a lot of things that I was just like, really? So they had a song at the end of each episode. And I know they were trying to relate the song back to maybe a passage or something in that episode, but the music was all over the place. It did not lend itself to the direction of the episodes. It propels you to the next episode. It just was confusing. They also, I think, stole from some iconic scenes in The Godfather, where the Godfather's playing with his grandson and then he dies, right? Almost exactly the same scene. At the end, they had this scene that I thought was almost exactly, again, mirroring the Silence of the Lambs scene. There was also a part where Matthew Rhys's character is eating like chicken fingers or something, and he's licking his, it's just disgusting. He's licking his fingers and things like that. And that's from The Sopranos. I've seen that 100 times. So I just thought that was a little, I don't know, a little shoddy. Other things that bring you out. At one point, Claire Danes' character, Aggie, is hiding in this greenhouse. And when the daylight comes, she runs into this rundown building of the office building of this greenhouse kind of, landscaping people. And she runs right to this like register that's in the back. Okay, like around the corner. She may have been to that greenhouse, so she may know exactly where it is. She goes underneath and she pulls out all these wires and dust on them, and they're all twisted, just like an old, store may have, right? They keep on adding stuff to it. She pulls all this out, and lo and behold, she finds a cell phone charger for her iPhone that fits. Just right there. She knew exactly where it was, hidden, all these things. Don't buy it. There was another thing where Matthew Rhys's family is from this billionaire father, and he has this grand house, and he has an 8-year-old child, and second marriage or whatever it was, and he's throwing this huge eighth birthday party, and they have it's catered, and they have these servers lined up in tuxes with champagne. They have an elephant. They have a live elephant for this party. And then they have this birthday cake that's this big. It's this big. It's like they just went to the corner grocery store and said, just give me something and throw his name on it. Okay, not that there's anything wrong with grocery store cakes. I personally love anything sweet, and I love those. But really, I mean, really, it just didn't go. Some of the special effects when people are in the cars and they're driving, the special effects out the windows that's supposed to be them passing by the neighborhood or whatever, it was like worse than like the Rockford Files back in the 80s. It was really bad. There was one scene where they're standing on top of like a building or something, and you can see like the skyline of Manhattan, and you look down and it was so bad. There's a lot of other things that I found like this that kind of just made me go, come on, guys, really? You've got some amazing actors here. You've got fantastic actors. You've got a good script. Why do you have to ruin it with some things like that? Spend the extra money. Overall, though, 3 reels. Check it out. Oh, there was one scene, and this is not a spoiler alert. Matthew Rhys's first wife, Madison. They actually show, her death. And there was a beautiful shot of Matthew Rhys and his first wife, and it was just a gorgeous shot, and it was so impactful, and Matthew Rhys was so into it, and it was so interesting, and then boom, they snapped away too soon. And I really wanted them to hold on to that shot. But anyway, take a look and let me know what you think. Okay, next one. I just saw Knives Out, Wake Up Dead Man, which is, like I said, the 3rd in the series. And I give it 4.5 reels. Why don't I give it 5? I don't know. 4.5 just felt right. Anyway, and I want to say thank you to my union, SAG. They often have movies that we as actors or creatives can come and view for free. So I went and saw it for free. And it was at the DGA, Directors Guild of America, in their auditorium. First time I was there, and it was lovely. It was great. So this is the 3rd in the series, and it's really set around the Catholic Church and this young priest who, used to be kind of like a rough guy, and he gets sent to this sort of, odd church that like no one wants to go to because the pastor is, Josh Brolin. He's just like kind of crazy, and it evolves around all the people in this very small community, and people that follow this odd priest in this small community like he's God. So the young one gets, and then there's a mystery, of course, and Daniel Craig gets called in, that kind of thing. The writer, producer, and director is the same as the others. It's I know I'm saying this name wrong. Ryan, Rian, R-I-A-N. I should probably learn how to say it. Johnson. He's been credited on a lot of things, right? So Guillermo del Toro gave him special thanks for his help in the Frankenstein movie. I don't know what he did with the Frankenstein movie, but that's pretty good praise. He did Poker Face as well, which is one of my favorite series. The casting for this was done by Betty May Casting. I know a little bit about them, and I thought the casting was really well done, really well done again. Betty May also did The Fall Guy. I don't know if you saw that movie. I like that movie. Okay, so you have Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc. I can never say that name wrong. I'm not French. Anyway, I thought he did a great job. One of the criticisms of the first one is that, oh my God, that accent, right? Like that little bit of Southern draw. Yeah, it was a little jarring in the first Knives Out, but it's really softened and it makes sense. It just lends to the character, and I think he does a good job. Josh O'Connor, he's the new edgy priest. I don't know where I've seen him before or ever, but yes, I want to see more of you. Yes, please, more of him. Glenn Close and Kerry Washington are also in it. Glenn Close can do no wrong in my book. I would literally be a speck on a rug if I could be in the same scene as her. And true to her ability, she is just beyond brilliant in this role, and she plays the woman that runs the church and the rectory, and she's very strict Catholic, and she's very old school, and she's very stern, but she's quick, and she knows everything about that thing. So, and she's just plays it expertly. Kerry Washington plays like this rich woman in town, real estate agent, I think she was, and at one point earlier in her life, her father brings home this young boy who, is all of a sudden sort of stepbrother or half brother. She doesn't know, and she sort of gets raised by him. That young character, he plays this like failed politician, and Very funny, very funny. Josh Brolin, which I already mentioned, he plays the kind of old priest that runs this parish, and is pretty scary. Jeremy Renner. Okay, Jeremy Renner. I don't know if you guys watch Mayor of Kingstown or you've seen him before. This is completely different than I've ever seen him. He plays sort of this like nerdy, introverted, frightened, like in a gentle way, character, and he does it great. He really did a great job. So great job, Jeremy. Andrew Scott, who I love, plays this in the town. He plays this writer, right? This writer that had these great books. Now he's kind of like secluded, and he's trying to get his next one, and blah blah blah, like that kind of stuff. And he's kind of anxious a little bit, but this anxious was well done. Wasn't too much, wasn't too little. So good job. Jeffrey Wright, love him. He had a small part, but he did it brilliantly. You know, it doesn't like, you know, there are no small parts, only small actors. Jeffrey Wright made an impact, and had character choices that were solid and spot on in the very few scenes that he had. So lesson for all of us. Bridget Everett, I don't know if you know her. She was from That Somebody Somewhere that won some awards. She's a comedian. She had a small part, and it was great. As a matter of fact, when, of course, I was in the theater with tons of creative people, and when she came on the screen, people started clapping. So it was just delightful to see her. Mila Kunis. Listen, I have nothing against Mila Kunis. Some of the rom-coms she was in earlier, she's very fun and funny. She's actually funny. Yeah, I don't think she was great in here. She plays the local sheriff, and kind of tough, wants to get things moving. Let's just get this solved, and you know, like that. She's got like this, like, you know, sheriff hats on, like almost like a cowboy bowler hat type of thing, and you know, buttoned up in this uniform, but kind of like the local cop. But she was in full glam makeup the entire time, almost to the point where it was distracting. Like it was too much. And I don't know, again, was that her choice? Was it the director's choice? You know, you've got someone who you know, she's okay, character-wise, but then to not go, I just wanted to push her further. Like, just, you know, dive into it, you know, be that cop from a local town, you know? You have actors like Kate Winslet, or in this, Glenn Close. Their character demanded that they don't have full makeup, right? It lends to the character. And I really wish Mila would have pushed a little bit harder, got rid of that makeup, made it more of a gruff kind of cop, and I think she would have stood out more. Thomas Hayden Church was also in it, and I'd love to see him. There was also claps in the theater when he came on. It's always pleasant to see him, I think. It centers around this Catholic church. There are more than one murder. There is more than one murder, so unlike some of the other ones. It is fascinating. It has twists. It's jumpy in a good way. It's very funny. I think the entire audience, I think we laughed for the first 10 minutes of the film. It really was just really, really good. So I strongly suggest you watch that one. One thing I didn't know is that each one of the Knives Out series, the title is named after a song. So the original Knives Out, like that kind of thing, was from a song from Radiohead. The Glass Onion refers to a song on the Beatles' White Album, and Wake Up Dead Man is from a 1997 album from U2. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Glenn Close also said that they really became an ensemble, a group. They would laugh, they would spend time with each other, you know, just, you know, having a good time and talking and getting to know each other. And it really showed. It really showed in the movie. That's what you want. It's an ensemble movie, right? It's ensemble. And you could tell everyone was having so much fun with their characters. They were having fun with each other. And I wonder, like, how much of that was maybe a little bit of improv because they know the characters so well, and how much was, or did they stick truly to the script? But they all did it brilliantly. And also, just another little fact, Daniel Craig's character, if you saw The Glass Onion, he was all about this iPad, right, that he got, this iPad. So the iPad that he uses in this film was the iPad that he used in A Knives Out too. So The Glass Onion. So again, 4.5 stars, and check it out and let me know what you think. Thank you for watching Regan Real Reviews, and I'll see you next time.